This is the vlog for January 1st, 2008, 2019. Happy New Year! I am in a lot of pain. Okay, so what happened? Not much. I didn't have an accident or anything. What I did do was find that while the forecast was for cloudy skies all day, the sun was out through most of the morning. Um, oh, to touch on the weird sounds I heard last night, I'm pretty sure what happened was I had Netflix paused and it was doing the thing where it, tries to find an ad for a show you haven't seen and plays it. And I was just hearing that from upstairs without realizing what had happened. So, nothing weird, no one broke into the house, no ghosts, I think. It still seemed a little bit weird. But everybody's back. And it was nice in the middle of the day, so I started moving stuff around, and then I had lunch, and at about noon, I went for a walk, and it was nice for a while. This has been the story of the week. I go out thinking that it's going to be as nice as the day was on Christmas Eve, where it was bright and sunny and wonderful, and it wasn't windy, and it was warm, remarkably warm for the time of year. And what keeps happening is I see sun, and I go out and I decide I'm going to go for a walk, and within 20 minutes the sun's basically gone. And that's what happened today. Now, it wasn't that bad because the cloud cover was pretty thin, so the sun was actually shining through most of the time. But I couldn't help but notice that while it was reasonably clear when I left, with a third of the sky blue, it got cloudy very quickly, and then when I was coming home, it started to clear again. Mother Nature is having her way with me, and there's no other way to say it. But I did I did my full loop of the nearby neighborhoods, and something sort of morbid happened. While I was, I stepped out of a dog trail and I started going up the street, and I saw one of my parents' friends who they walk with her. Her name's Sandy, and she was actually at her daughter's house. Her daughter lives just down the street from her, picking up a drop cloth because Sandy was doing some painting in her own house. So she borrowed a drop cloth from her daughter and went up to get back to painting. And she drove past me, and then coming back the other way were two ambulances flashing their lights but not playing siren. Now, I have to stress, I had just walked down every street of that neighborhood. So, specifically, I passed whatever house it was where those ambulances were heading. And that fact sort of sits uneasy with me. There's fireworks going off. That's something that happened last night. So I picked up my parents, came home, and I was awake for the new year. Happy New Year. I remember being in college and actually going out with friends on New Year's Eve and having New Year's parties and drinking heavily on New Year's. And I just haven't done that in well over a decade at this point. More like a decade and a half, actually. And sometimes I sort of want to, but, well, let me put it this way. I'm glad that I did my walking today, not yesterday, because if I'd done all of this yesterday, if I felt like the way I do right now, yesterday, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. My legs are killing me. I've got a little bit of pain in my back because when I came back home, and it was still cloudy out, I decided, well, now's the perfect time to keep moving stuff down into the garage. So that's what I did. I actually organized quite a bit of stuff today, and I feel pretty good about that. I think I've already mentioned I've got a good idea of what I want to keep versus what I need to get rid of. So that's good. Now the stuff I need to get rid of, I've actually come up with a good idea. A lot of it isn't worth anything. At least it's not worth the trouble to get maybe $5 or $10 per piece on eBay for it. So I'm going to take a lot of these old toys that I have no interest in keeping and give them to Goodwill. I, probably could have done that, should have done that before Christmas. But Goodwill, kids in need toys whenever they can get them. So there's that to consider. So what that leaves me with is a whole bunch of tchotchke crap that I'm probably just going to throw away because not even Goodwill is going to want it. A number of toys that I'm going to give to Goodwill, and then a lot of stuff that I would rather keep but probably are going to end up giving to Goodwill anyway. And a handful of things I'm probably going to go try and give to the collector sales guy that I actually bought a lot of it from. I shouldn't actually say that. I'm not going to try and sell back the stuff that he sold me. I've got a bunch of video game stuff, and he does a lot of video game stuff on the side now. In fact, it's more of a focus for him than the collectible figures. So I'm going to take like my collection of hard copy games that I know I'm never going to play anymore on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and I'm just going to take them and see if I can get $1 or $2 for each one. Probably not, but at the very least, I'll just give them to him. This is all on the rack that fell on me. I don't know if I ever told that story, but the reason I went all digital is I had a full DVD rack with tons of stuff. I was sitting quietly one day on a Saturday morning, looking at the internet, not doing anything, and the whole thing fell on me, and it hurt. So now I'm purely digital. Well, almost purely digital, except for the things I can't get digitally. Okay, I've been talking for 7 minutes. I'm exhausted. I'm going to go to bed very, very early tonight. In part because I stayed up very late last night. In part because I woke up at about 6 this morning and couldn't really go back to sleep. I laid there till about 7:30, but that was it. I'll say this before I'll go. I keep having this knot in my stomach when I get really anxious. And I hope it's just from being anxious. Because eventually it went away today, and I feel a lot better now in the stomach region. I don't know if it's just because everything else hurts. But I do not like that sensation. I don't like that anxiety at all. I don't like the stress of this situation. And I'm going to have to start job hunting soon, which I think is probably what's making me anxious. But that's a problem for another day. So I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better. And again, Happy New Year.